Lots of news dropping. NBC just announced Matt Lauer is out.
What?
Fired over sexual misconduct. Gone. So now you have, of course, Charlie Rose was previously fired by CBS. Now Matt Lauer is out. $25 million a year, Tom.
Yeah. Wow.
Major news there, but also in D.C., last night, Congressional Black Caucus members held a meeting where the issue of Congressman John Conyers has also been accused of sexual misconduct came up. Congressman Cedric Richmond, the chair of the CBC, issued a statement where he said, quote, "Today I met with John and we had a very candid conversation about the seriousness of the allegations against him, which he vehemently denies. I told him I agree with his decision to step down as ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee at this time. I also told him that I encourage and expect him to fully cooperate with the ethics investigation. He said he would." The question, though, is what will take place? Joining us right now is Arnold Reed, Congressman John Conyers' attorney. Arnold, thank you for being with us. Obviously, here you have Congressman Conyers, a founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus, Dean of the U.S. House. Your assessment in talking with him about yesterday's meeting with Congressman Cedric Richmond and other CBC members.
Well, obviously, Roland, he's very concerned. The congressman is back here home in the city of Detroit. We plan to convene later this afternoon, Roland, to discuss where we go from here. Quite frankly, again, Mr. Conyers has denied these allegations. He has indicated that sexual harassment in any form, Roland, should not be tolerated. So we will convene this afternoon and discuss where we go from here.
A couple of members of Congress have already called for him to resign, and one of them cites Deanna Mayer, a former deputy chief of staff for Congressman Conyers, who went on the record with the Detroit News, who said that there were 3 unwanted advances made towards her. She worked for him from 1997 to 2005. Has he specifically addressed this complaint?
No question, Roland. Deanna Mayer claimed that the sexual acts of harassment, one of them occurred while they were driving down the freeway. She said they were driving erratic. Police pull them over. She doesn't say anything to the police. She goes back to work. And then in one publication, she says that she was forced to be a nanny inside his home and watch his children. So it calls into question, naturally, Roland, if you're sexually harassed, why do you move into somebody's house? The times that she said she was taking care of the children, one of John's sons was enrolled in a boarding school in Oklahoma. So there are issues with credibility with Ms. Mayer, and Ms. Mayer will have her opportunity, if it comes to it, to speak to the relevant bodies, but she's got some credibility issues that she's going to have to deal with.
Now, the members of Congress have returned to the nation's capital. There are a series of votes. Why is Congressman Conyers back in Detroit?
The congressman has come back so that we can convene and assess the situation. I've had an extremely busy schedule that has not permitted me to talk with the congressman in person. We've been talking and corresponding by phone. We want to have a round table rolling and have an opportunity to sit face to face.
Is resignation on the table for Congressman John Conyers?
The last time the congressman and I spoke, resignation was not on the table, Roland. The congressman still had a desire to serve the constituents who elected him to represent them in Washington.
Do you have any information?
Go ahead, Sybil.
Do you have any information on what initiated all of this with the payment of for a woman who said that there was some sort of sexual impropriety involving the congressman?
Well, one of the lawsuits was dropped by a young lady who went to court and said that she didn't want to continue. She dropped the case, and it was dismissed with prejudice. What made her come out and go public was the fact that the documents were made public where she agreed that she would drop the lawsuit. There was a confidentiality agreement, non-disparagement clause. Of course, that became public where one of the accusers signed the agreement freely and voluntarily. And in recent reports, they wanted to have the congressman take those back. But that is what the impetus was for this situation, at least one of them going public, the allegation that taxpayer money was used to funnel this settlement.
But it was not taxpayer money?
That is still being vetted. Mr. Conyers followed all of the rules. The House approved it. The House attorneys on ethics, they approved it from front to back. All the four corners of the agreement were vetted, and it was deemed to be legal. The congressman does not have the power to unilaterally draft such an agreement or sign without going through several channels of approval.
Arnold, Congressman Cedric Richmond said that he believes that Congressman John Conyers deserves due process. Again, we have seen other individuals. We've seen, of course, accusations made against Senator Al Franken. Are you concerned that there have been members calling for Congressman Conyers to resign, but not Senator Al Franken?
Is this racial?
It's no question about you have to consider that element. You have a situation here where they've even bantered around, I've heard, expulsion. When you know the history of Congress, there have been 5 people in the history of Congress that have been expelled, 3 during the Confederacy, 2 that were convicted, not allegations, but convicted of bribery and theft. This, if that were to happen, not suggesting that it would, but there's been, passed around in the scuttlebutt, that would be something that would be unheard of. Mr. Congressman, Mr. Conyers deserves due process. These are merely allegations, all of which can be refuted and have been refuted. So, yeah, I'm very concerned about this disparate treatment as between him and Senator Franken. As you know, impeachment process goes through John Conyers. Whoever wants to get nominated to the federal court goes through John Conyers. Certain monies that go to Detroit goes through John Conyers. That's a very powerful seat. You've got Democrats fighting as we speak to take John's seat, and this is just not a new thing. They have not wanted Congressman Conyers in that office for years. This is nothing new.
So you're saying follow the money.
As an attorney, are you concerned with individuals being fired from jobs based solely on allegations?
It's no question about it. I mean, if you say to someone, hey, you look nice today, Roland, does that mean you get fired? I'm very concerned.
All right.
Arnold Reed, attorney for Congressman John Conyers.
Follow the money, huh, Sid?
Follow the money.
Yeah.
He
Thank you very much
just
for having
ran
me.
down everything that goes through
The
John
judiciary.
Conyers.
Yeah. Wow.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.